In the spring of 1602, the world changed, not with a revolution, but with a signature. At the time, the oceans were a graveyard of ambition. Merchant voyages to the east were high-risk gambles. One shipwreck meant total financial ruin, but the Dutch did something radical. They didn't just pool their money, they pooled their risk. They created a permanent capital, a company that never died, even if its investors did. This was the birth of the VOC. To the history books, they were spice traders. To the modern economist, they were the architects of our world. They didn't just trade spices, they invented the financial architecture of the soul, the limited liability company. This is the Aetas Files. The VOC's genius wasn't just in sailing, it was in the charter. The Dutch government granted them a state-within-a-state status. They were legally permitted to build forts, mint their own currency, and, crucially, declare war. They understood a dark truth of the markets. Competition is a drain on profit. While the rest of Europe was fighting religious wars, the Dutch were perfecting the IPO. By inviting common citizens to buy shares, they tapped into a reservoir of capital no king could match. By 1630, the VOC wasn't just trading in the Indian Ocean, they owned it. But the price of a total monopoly isn't paid in gold, it is paid in blood. In 1621, the world's most valuable real estate was a tiny cluster of volcanic islands in the Banda Sea. This was the only place on Earth where nutmeg grew. To the VOC, this wasn't an ecosystem, it was a biological mint. When the Bandanese people insisted on their own sovereignty, the VOC governor, Jan Pieter Zoon Cohen, decided to eliminate it. What followed was an industrial liquidation. Within months, a population of 15,000 was reduced to barely 600. This is the dark alchemy of the 17th century, transforming human life into a 6,000% profit margin. By the 1780s, the VOC looked like a titan, but inside, the balance sheet was a hollowed-out ruin. The company was trapped in a dividend death spiral. They committed to a fatal promise, an 18% annual dividend, even when they were losing money. They were effectively running the world's first global Ponzi scheme, using new debt to pay old interest. The ghost of $8 trillion was revealed for what it was, a bankrupt entity propped up by lies. In 1799, the company that owned the world simply ceased to exist. The VOC is dead, but look around you. Every time you check a stock price, or every time a corporation claims limited liability to distance itself from a disaster, they are quoting the VOC charter. We like to think we have evolved, but as modern entities grow larger than the nations that host them, we must ask ourselves, did we actually learn from the VOC, or did we just give the monster a better suit? I'm Aetas, and this is the history of the future.